Okay, good morning, everybody. We'll get started. This will be videoed, recorded, posted, so you can go back and look at anything. Hopefully you reviewed the Monday Zoom meeting. It was 14 minutes long talking about the test. So I can answer any questions you might have on that. If you didn't watch that, do it, because what I'm going to do is touch on some different things during this little period here before doing any questions. And I think I'm going to start off by saying tomorrow is Thursday, which means there's no official class besides what teachers may have been, doing for optional extra stuff outside of the little time period. So what I'm thinking is for AP exam, I'm not going to say only, but that's where we're going to start. If you have questions or something else, you can jump on there. But I'm going to do Thursday, and why not Saturday and Sunday, at least tentatively planned, 11 o'clock each day for anyone that wants to jump on and do, ask any AP exam type questions, whether it's going over anything that you saw, whether it was making up new things. You're supposed to get all of your information, all of your credentials 2 days before, which means probably Saturday, but definitely by Sunday, you should have everything. So you can kind of log in and make sure everyone's got everything they need. Hey, where do I find this? Where do I find that? We can do that over the weekend. Like I said, 11 o'clock, that way it's right before lunchtime. And pardon me, I'll be on, from 11 to 11:15 if anyone wants to drop in. Obviously, nothing is required, but why not, right? So we'll start with that. Pardon me. Things that as I was going through doing some grading and things I was looking at and emails that I have received from my superiors, things that I want to mention to you. I think first what I'm going to do is show you our AP Physics Google Classroom on the stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, and 4. The fourth one down is an old one that I posted a long time ago on April 13th, and I just brought it up to the top. So links for some sample questions mostly there, but it looks like many of you have been going on to College Board and doing some of those. So there's that. 3 down, going up 1. If you're not getting the emails, if you haven't done this yet, make sure you check to see if you're getting those emails. Keep in mind that if everything you need, let me rephrase this. If your exam testing schedule posted on your College Board account is correct, then you should be receiving everything through that account, whether you're getting emails or not. That's what I've been told. So again, you can try the third one down if you haven't been getting emails. Second one down, I made today. So what I have here is a list of some links that I've been given. So these are all, if you take a look, the AP coronavirus updates, it's everything is on the coronavirus update page because it's all so new. So you've got getting ready for the exam. They've got checklists and things like that. Taking the exam. One of these has a video or two that's kind of embedded in there. Watch it. Make sure you're prepped and ready. This is the demo page, just kind of telling you how to demo the exam day experience. Testing guide. This is like as you can see, it's a PDF, so it's kind of like a little booklet. You can go through that if you need to. Needed on exam day. This is a link that was emailed to me, so I added it here. This is a list of all equation sheets for all exams. Obviously, you need the physics ones for sure. So there's a link there. And then as I scroll down a little bit further, oh, that's right, okay. Grammarly, if you have Grammarly on your computer, I've seen the advertisements for it. I don't know much more beyond that. That will interfere with your AP submissions or something like that. So basically you have to remove it. And so there's actually a link that was sent to me that I forwarded onto you. So if you have it on your computer, you have to uninstall it, delete it, whatever. That's the second stream down. The very tip top of the stream, I literally, from an email, copied and pasted. So I literally just copied and pasted this whole thing. It's talking about Grammarly. This is the demo. You click on this one and it takes you to the actual demo site. You got to have an 8-digit, password or whatever else, your ID, and then you take it from there. So I can't get any further than that, but there is a demo so you can practice the whole thing. So the top 4 postings, 2 of them are older, the top 2 are new, but they're all useful. So make sure you've gone through, leave no stone unturned, make sure you're comfortable and confident in terms of all testing procedures. Being comfortable and confident in physics content would be also helpful. So with that, in addition, I gave myself a little list here of things that I wanted to mention as I was going through, things that came to mind as I was going through doing some grading of your AP work. Number 1, many people were doing their work by hand, which is great because that way you're not confined to what you're able to do on a computer. I saw some people take a picture of their entire page with all the parts to it and post that. I had some people frame all of their photos so that just part A, just part B, just part C were visible. I don't know what they're going to consider to be the best. I mean, I'm assuming it's all, I'm sure they'll objectively look at it all and not be frustrated by getting a huge thing that they have to zoom in on. But so I don't know, but I know that for me, as I was going through, it was most convenient to click and get just the answer I was looking for so I didn't have to zoom in. Did I care about zooming in? No. But now, if it's like part 1, part 2, part 3, and you've got work for one of them that's going to be used later on, if you want to take a bigger picture to kind of include all that, I really don't think it's going to matter, but just things for you to think about. Graph paper, there's lots of graphing that's going to be required of you. And so I'm going to suggest to you printing off some graph paper. And if you don't have a printer, I don't have a printer, ahead of time, get out your ruler and draw a really nice graphing grid so that when or if you have to do a graph, you are ready to go with a nicely laid out graph. Now, could you do that on the spot with a nice ruler and everything else? Yeah, but make it as perfect as you can. So I would have that set up ahead of time. And I would probably have, you got 2 questions, so I probably have 2 graph sheets and maybe a third just in case. And it doesn't have to be much in there. Make sure you're always putting in labels and units, and make sure your scale is accurate. So make a good graph because they give you points or they remove points for all of those things. For one of them, there is a spaceship A and spaceship B, and you had to graph their positions. And it said, put in a line of best fit for each of them. One of them was clearly a parabola. And so, yes, you could, argue, well, a line is a straight line, and that's not, a curve is not a line. And you can make that argument, but you're going to lose. So make sure you look at the trend of the dots. And if you see a parabola, you see some kind of a curve, an asymptote, whatever, make sure your line of best fits, according to them, can be curved as, if you did that one and you got graded, you'll see it. So just keep that in mind. If you did any of those College Board progress checks or whatever else, if you look through and say, oh, I got full credit, good, moving on. Remember, everything's subjective, especially some of those questions dealing with labs and everything else. And so just if you got a full credit, it wouldn't be a bad idea still to go back and say, okay, this is what they said, earn full credit. And you can look back and see why you earned full credit. That's just a suggestion. I tried to type in a bunch of notes as I went along to you. So, and I think they all show up on one single page. It's not like you get 5 notes for one single assignment. It's one big note. So if there was a note on part B, I'd put B and I'd write down either what you did wrong or suggestions for next time. So make sure you check those out. I think, like I said, do the demo or practice submitting through the progress checks so that you know what it is you're doing. And the last thing I have written down to mention, there was a question involving a person on skis going down a hill and hitting a ski jump. And from what I saw, because I can't see the question until I grade it for you, but what I saw, nothing was mentioned about friction. And so my suggestion to you, and the whole problem was done without friction, just I would, unless it says that there is no friction, if there isn't, if you're doing a problem like that and they don't mention it, I would put at the very top, assuming no friction, because like I said, it didn't officially say no friction present, but it was a skier on a slippery slope. And so, nothing was mentioned. So everybody, including the person that made the rubric, assume no friction. If they don't say it, I would just put in that quick line, assuming no friction. That way they can see, why it is you did that. And if they don't mention friction, I'm assuming it's because it was negligible. But those are the things that came to my mind as I was going through the grading process. So make sure you're not lazy on your graphs, and have some graph paper ahead of time would be wise. And then, so there's lots of different ways to submit, whether it's pictures, whether it's Word, whether it's whatever. So again, my suggestion is get familiar with something, whatever you're quickest and best at. For many of you, I'm sure it's probably just handwritten, and that's acceptable. I will do my best to look around and see if there's an answer to, can I put all answers on one page and put one page in, or should we frame each of ours for part A, for part B? I'll see if I can find an answer. I'm not optimistic, but I'll see if I can find a solution or an answer to that if it matters. I'm pretty sure it's not going to. Right, so again, to recap, what we've done here today is make sure you go to our page and go down and check on everything. If you're not taking the AP exam, then obviously you don't have to worry about any of this, but the top 4 links, or the top 4 postings are all useful. The top ones are the newest ones, so they are in chronological order, with the newest being on the top. So do that. My suggestions for submission and for testing, and last, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and you can all send me a reminder or a group message or something and ask for a different time. It's fine with me. I will not do Friday during class period time. So between the hours of 9 and 3 p.m. on Friday, I will not compete, because that's not fair to your 5th and 6th hour teachers. But I will do, like I said, I'll do tomorrow, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and you start at noon, which means you should be logging in at 11:30. I can log in at 11 on Monday also. 11 o'clock is right when first hour officially ends. So, so I can be on all those times. So I'll jump on there. And if I'm not on there and you are, you're like, hey, why isn't it? It's 11:02 and he's not on there. Send me a text remind. Maybe I forgot. I don't know. So, so send me a remind. Don't be shy. And then last, my suggestion from Monday was make sure any class period in which you are having a conflict with your AP exam, make sure that teacher knows. So all of you 2nd hour folks are taking the AP exam during the 2nd hour time slot on Monday, so no worries. All you 3rd hour folks are taking the exam during the 2nd hour time slot. So just make sure you send your 2nd hour teacher an email. Hey, just so you know, I'm taking the AP exam for physics at noon, so I got to miss the meeting. If there's a Zoom meeting that you have to go to, the teachers will all understand. Just make sure that they know. And so with that, that's everything that I had wanted to share with you. So at this point, I will answer any additional questions, whether it's about the format, whether it's about actual questions. You can use the chat. You can use the unmuted option. But yeah, so that's, I'll put all this onto YouTube so you can go through any of that as well. Yeah, so question, in terms of scoring for the AP test, do you know what range of scores would be a 5? With this new format, I don't know. I haven't seen anything in terms of what their scoring range is. Usually what you would find in AP is previous years worth of scoring ranges. So last year was a 58 point whatever was the cutoff for a 5. So I don't know. I'll look. I have my list here of things to check. I'll put that on the list. I don't think there's going to be anything about what range will be there. I think they're going to kind of take a look at their scores because they obviously do their little curve. So, but I'll check. So we'll add that to my list of sleuthing. What range do we have? And then what was the other thing I was going to ask? It was, so what does that mean? So yeah, so basically take as many numbers from the graph as you can and put them in there with as many equations as you can. So we saw the first thing we could get was current equaling 10 amps, and we could get our charge of 20. So using the 10 and 20, the two things we can get off those graphs, and then put them in with as many voltage equations and capacitance equations and equations with R as we can. Concept. But anyways, I can't believe that it's already here. So it's a few days away. So so keep up the work, and make sure you're going to the website and practicing the submissions and getting things all squared away and ready to go, so that Sunday night when you go to bed, you know that your stuff is all ready to go. And like I said, send me reminds as needed. Come to the Zoom meetings at 11 o'clock as needed. And if you have a special request for a time other than 11 o'clock on the rest of the week besides Friday, just send me a message.